So we are here at the Oracle Red Bull Racing Esports facility in Milton Keynes, of course part of the Red Bull Technology Centre, which is absolutely an awesome place to be and a very cool facility. And we are joined by Sebastian Job, who's obviously one of the top drivers for Oracle Red Bull Racing. This is the facility that a lot of the stuff takes place in terms of the drivers getting up to speed with the sims, and it's a very cool looking place.
Yeah, so you can see we've got 6 rigs here basically. In preparation for an F1 esports event, this is where we'd all come. Previously we've done that at other locations, but now we've got this Erena set up. This is where we'd come and do it. So we'd have all 6 of us practicing together, doing practice races, discussing setups and whatnot. The advantage of having everyone together in person is great. So yeah, that's why we've got the 6 rigs here. Back in 2011, 2012, I started getting into go-karting. I've really enjoyed it, but because of the nature of go-karting, it's very expensive, so I started looking for alternatives. And so in 2013, I picked up iRacing and got into sim racing. I had it as a hobby for I started it as a hobby and then I got into the World Championship and I realized, okay, I might actually be decent at this. So I started to take it a bit more serious, joined a couple of teams, but it was never professional until 2018 when I joined G2 Esports. And yeah, so that's became Red Bull Racing Esports over the last few years.
Especially nice to be able to actually do sim racing together, because normally it's the kind of industry where you're on your own, you're in a room, and it must be nice to actually come together and chat in person and meet these people in real life.
Yeah, it adds a new social aspect to it. And then yes, you can see when you beat them, you can see their reaction even better.
Yeah, makes a big difference. And obviously over here we've got kind of a state-of-the-art rig with a slightly more expensive setup. So this is like your main #1 rig.
Yeah, so this is where we would do a bit more iRacing from basically, or maybe some R-Factor, some endurance races more than likely. So I think the plan is to do 1 or 2 iRacing special events from here, like Bathurst 12 hours maybe, or Daytona 24 hours. And then, because there's only one of them, we'd have to do real driver swaps, but I think that adds like a nice little element to it, where we're all using the same rig. So yeah, that'll be more for the iRacing and R-Factor stuff, so a bit more hardcore compared to the F1 game.
So obviously G2 Racing kind of merged with Red Bull, and how did that all come about? Did you know it was happening? Were you excited to join Red Bull?
I think it would have been late 2019 that it started to happen, and obviously, you know, becoming associated with a Formula 1 brand or Formula 1 team was pretty exciting for us. We knew that we'd be getting more involved with the F1 team, and obviously it made sense for the F1 Esports series. That was partly what started it in the first place, but then the fact that they were interested in building a full team for every game was really awesome and nice to see the support. So yeah, it's just great to be so involved with an F1 team, and I think we were all pretty damn excited about that.
What is it like, you know, a day in the life of someone who is working for Oracle Red Bull Racing Esports?
At the moment, for me, it begins with an early start because one of my teammates, Cooper, is Australian, and I want to get some practice in with him. So at the moment, I'm waking up really early in the morning, go for a few hours with him, so like maybe 6 till 9 in the morning, then have a bit of a break, and then we'll do a bit more practice until around lunchtime, and then he'll go to sleep. And I'll do a bit more practice for the rest of the day. And then typically in the evenings, I like to have a little gym session, but sometimes I'll come up to the factory to have a session with my trainer, Lewis. And then yeah, just trying not to overwork yourself a little bit. So it's a bit of a balance. And then yeah, sometimes coming up to the factory for various other stuff, since it's quite nearby for me, so it's quite handy.
You've got a little display here as well, so you've got some trophies. I mean,
Yeah.
Were you involved in any of these specific events? There's so many different things from different games here.
Unfortunately, I think I didn't get any trophies for the competitions I did, so these aren't these aren't mine. But we've got the F1 Esports trophy. We've got that twice, 2019 and 2020, I believe.
Not many people have that twice.
And then we got DHL Faster Lap Award, and then Le Mans twice, I believe, as well. Yeah, there's a second place there for the GT, and then on Forza, the guys just dominated that.
Yeah, it must be very cool being involved in a team with like so much success that are able to basically jump on any platform and be right at the top level.
Yeah, I think we're quite fortunate that we have just such good drivers across the board, basically. Very strong team and really good depth to it.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously, like, a big part of that is, you know, having a bond and the drivers being able to get to know each other. And you've kind of got an interesting section over here where you guys can just come and chill out a little bit. And I'm guessing this is more of just a social area to have a bit of a break from practicing or take turns when your teammate's doing a stint.
Yeah, basically that. It's just to chill out. We've got like the Xbox and PS5 set up, and then we've got the foosball table just to, you know, mess about afterwards. The FIFA games get very competitive.
I can imagine, yeah.
It's just a nice place to chill out really afterwards, so it works out well.
You were saying you were focused on iRacing and that's how things kicked off. But I know that last year you got involved in Formula 1 esports as well for AlphaTauri. So how did that all come about and what was it like transitioning to a very, very different game?
So for a few years I wanted to do F1 esports, but I think it was in 2018 or 19 I had some problems qualifying. Like, I was really unlucky. I got a puncture on the last lap when I was about to qualify, but I finally managed to qualify through it without any problems. And then it was just a matter of learning what is basically the complete opposite of iRacing. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to win races, but I was, you know, hoping to do all right, and didn't go so well at the start of the season, but as the season went on, things got better, and I got a podium in the last race, which I was pretty happy with. But from a driving perspective, it was very, very tricky. Like, I had to forget everything I knew in terms of like muscle memory, really analyze my own driving, just lots and lots of hours. The amount that you have to work to learn a new game is crazy, and it was a tough season, but I'm quite excited to do it again now that I've got all this knowledge and I've gone away with it, and now I can bring it back, and it speeds up the process of learning quite a lot.
In terms of your future plans, are you planning to stick with it? But obviously you are, so, you know, what are your goals with that? Are you trying to just basically be as competitive as you can across multiple platforms? Or are you trying to focus more on shifting towards Formula 1?
Kind of a goal of mine, which is highly, like, it's almost a bit unrealistic, but I'm an ambitious person, so I like to aim for the highest thing possible. But I want to win Porsche Esports Super Cup and Formula 1 Esports in the same year, which is very, very tricky and probably not going to happen, but I want to try it.
So obviously, speaking of Porsches, you took your first feature race victory of the season at the Red Bull Ring last time out, so that must have been a nice feeling.
And look at the grin! Look at the smile! He's delighted! He gets a feature race win here this season, his first of the season after getting 2 sprint race wins the last 2 rounds.
How are you feeling about the rest of the season? Do you think you're going to be able to repeat your previous championship victory?
To be honest, with Porsche, anything other than first is like complete failure in my eyes for me, because having won the season in the past, nothing else is good enough, basically. You know, you can't be aiming for second if you've already won it. First 2 rounds I had some really rubbish luck getting wiped out from both of them in the feature race, which is where you get the most of your points as well. But then round 3 at Interlagos I managed to win the sprint race, and then had a reasonable feature race, and then Silverstone I won the sprint race again, and then now at the Red Bull Ring I managed to win a feature race. I think after the first 2 rounds I was like 19th in the championship, and now I'm up to 2nd, so I'm pretty happy with how it's going. Halfway through the season now, and I think now we're going to start really working even harder, because I'm not so much disappointed with myself, but I know I can work even harder, and I'm very motivated now that when I know I wasn't at my absolute best and I was still getting these wins, so I was more motivated than ever, and yeah, fingers crossed the wins keep coming.
My goodness, what a race that was.
So we'd just like to say a big thank you to Oracle Red Bull Racing for inviting us to their incredible technology campus, and of course to Sebastian Job for showing us around the arena. If you want to see how he and his Oracle Red Bull Racing esports teammates are getting on, be sure to check out the TraxionGG website on a regular basis, and of course subscribe to this very YouTube channel for plenty of the best live esports action. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, keep it pinned, and have a great day.